I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope. Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get this sword. Nah, he sent a picture of him at the bar, like looking at the TVs, and he was like, I own this place. They let me have the remote.
Can you imagine some guy going in there and he's got the remote and he's got some mid-major game on or something like that? Oh, man, that'd be so funny.
They let me have the remote, he said. What's up, everybody? Hope you all had a nice Saturday. I sure as hell did, man. It was a great one. I think my bets went 9-3 or something along those lines, including my favorite bet of the day hit. I don't know if any of you guys, I know it's a college basketball day. I don't know if any of you guys tailed that NBA bet. My top NBA bet was the Sixers Nets under 213.5. So that's a low total in the NBA. Under 213.5, 1.25 units. It was my biggest bet of the day. They scored 70 points in the first quarter, and it still stayed under. Now, just magic. Do you believe in magic? The Nets won, by the way. So the Sixers also took a home loss to the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, you can't paint a better picture than that. I win my bet and Philadelphia gets embarrassed on their home floor in front of their own fans. It's like the end of a children's book.
I hate to see it.
Yeah, and today was crazy. So I knew I was killing it. But not just my personal bets, my picks on the show. Of the first 10 games went through, I went 9-1. So about 2 hours ago, I went and tallied up the YouTube picks. So I was going to make a thing and send it to Toast and Trevor to talk shit. Like, I crushed you guys, and I got third place. That's how I know the show killed today, because I did awesome, and I got third place out of the three. So, yeah, it was a great Saturday. And still, check this comment out. I was trying to explain this to people, that people will always say fade when all three of us have been on the same thing. We've been killing it, like crazy hit rate. And comments still came in today. This is crazy. He still dropped the comment, even though he got spiked. So what I've said in the past is people will always say that. You could go 6-1 when we sweep, and someone will still comment about the one. We always fade. Anyway, enough of that. It's midnight.
And it's always like the extreme worst, too. It's like, oh, you lost this pick. They got blown out by 20. And then they neglect to say the other 9 picks that smashed or something. You know what I mean? It's just funny how it works out.
That's how it goes. But it's Sunday. We have some college basketball. Got a bunch of NBA as well. For those of you that are in the group, I'll be posting NBA bets. I'll be up for a while posting NBA bets. I'm going to go through it after this. We're just talking 7 college basketball games here. So we got Yukon, St. John's. I think it's a Yukon spot, man. Is it at MSG?
Yeah, it's at MSG. So that's where I was making this video. I just got to record now. And it just kind of sucked because I didn't really want to use home and road splits because St. John's plays at Madison Square Garden a lot too. So it's not like I don't think it's going to be, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a whole bunch of Yukon fans there. I'm not trying to make a case that it's going to be like a away game or something like that, but I'm just saying I don't think there's a huge advantage as far as home and away goes. I think it's more of like a neutral game with the way that both these teams play at the Garden. So
yeah, I mean, for those of you not familiar with the Northeast, Connecticut, that's the tri-state, New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut. New York City borders all 3 states. So Connecticut's right there, New Jersey's right there. New York City's in the corner of New York, and it also touches New Jersey and Connecticut. So that's not really much of a road game for UConn.
Yeah. I'm going to be on UConn. I already bet UConn at 4.5. It's kind of like, I'm not in like love with UConn. It's not like I've been taking a whole bunch of L's with them and whatnot. But again, I do think that you're getting St. John's at like the highest market value you could possibly get them at. And I'm not even going to be able to show you guys or say anything that's going to really make you like love UConn. But I will say that this game means kind of a lot as far as the Big East standings. I mean, UConn's only 3.5 games back. There's like 4 or 5 games left to be played. So there could be a lot of, I mean, as far as the standings go, there's a lot of going on for there. And then as far as like this full season, like if you take a look at both teams side by side, St. John's is 14th in net rating for their guy over at College Basketball Analytics. Yukon is 27th. Yukon has a 17 offensive rating. St. John's is in 97th. Defensive rating, St. John's is the second best team in the country, or maybe the first best, depending on which category you look at. Yukon's like in the hundreds. So that's like the only big difference is obviously that St. John's is a really good team. So I will say, though, I did filter out Yukon playing against top 40 defenses in KenPom because you can't really filter out them playing top 5 or top defenses like St. John's. And they have really good numbers. I mean, they're offensive ratings at like 113. They've been shooting like 35% from deep. I think that McNeely back helps. I will say that the St. John's defense hasn't been like fantastic against teams in the top 20 as far as offense is concerned, like Yukon. The defensive ratings at 108, which is average. Opponents' effective field goal percentage is like 53%. They're giving up 40% from deep. So again, I think there's avenues with Yukon to get there. I think that Yukon can actually stick with them as far as rebounding is concerned. Again, it's just the St. John's defense is very, very good. I wouldn't mind an under here either, obviously, with it being MSG. The only thing that sucks about the under is that usually when you get teams like this that are coming into MSG, it's because a lot of them haven't played there before. Both these teams are very comfortable there. So that's the only reason I didn't really actually bet the under. But I think this is going to be a low-scoring game, just like the first time that these two teams played. The first time these teams played, it was 68-62, if I remember correctly, or something like that, maybe 67-62. So a very close game. I bet Yukon. I think this is like a final get-up game for them. I mean, they really need this one. If they get this one, able to beat Georgetown and Providence, that puts them in a really good spot coming when they have to play Marquette here soon. So again, this is kind of like not to mention the fact that we have Yukon again. Not that I'm in love with this team and I hate Hurley. You guys all know that, but Yukon's last time they were on the road, again, I say that with quotation marks, they lost to Seton Hall. So I would assume for them to be up and ready, focused in a road spot. I have a hard time believing Hurley won't be in their ear for this one. So again, I like Yukon. I'm not in love with it, but I did bet it.
I like it. I am going to bet it. 4.5 is just too many. If you look at the schedule, yeah, of course, St. John's has had a better year than Yukon. Of course, what is St. John's? 23-4, Yukon 18-8. But if you follow these two teams the last couple of months, I mean, Yukon's had a lot of games bounce the other way at the end. And St. John's there's a lot. I mean, if you really follow these two teams, Yukon's 18-8, St. John's is 23-4. Those could very easily be switched. I mean, Yukon lost in the last second to Creighton, to Villanova, to Seton Hall. Meanwhile, St. John's has been winning those games. So it's kind of like when we get down towards the end of the NFL season and we're looking at which teams are 6-0 in one-score games. It's kind of like the final minutes of the games, the ball has bounced St. John's way. Not implying that they're lucky or anything. I'm just saying the 4.5 points, I don't think there's that big of a gap between these two teams.
Well, and to your point, they played Providence. Both times they played Providence, it was a 2-point game. Essentially, both those games could have went either way with a bucket on either side. So, again, they won those games. But to your point, they've been a little bit lucky as well. Georgetown game, really close. They ended up winning by 5. They beat Xavier in overtime. Again, they're getting the job done. But like I said at the beginning of my spiel, the market value for them is like at an all-time high. So I think that if this game was 2 weeks ago, this number would be like 2.5 or something like that. I just think that you're especially getting over 3.5 with Yukon. It was just too easy or too good to pass up.
Someone says always fade Sauce the day after he has a winning night. And the funnier part is, and when he wears a Commander's hat. Fading me after a winning night has not been profitable recently because I've been having a good run. But the Commander's hat, I can't comment on. Maybe I suck with a Commander's hat. I'd have to go check that out. All right, let me just scan the comments real quick, see if anyone shared picks in here. TWD is very adamant about being on Yukon. He's commented it at least a half dozen times.
Someone said in the Discord?
Who knows, dude?
Okay, never mind.
I don't know. He might be my neighbor for all I know. Why is there the line not? Oh, here we go. No, so someone said it's down to 3.5. I'm seeing 4.5 still. FanDuel 4.5, DraftKings 4.5. Circa has dropped it to 3.5. You know what? I'm gonna grab a 4.5 right now.
Yeah, I bet 4.5. I also sprinkled the money line just a tad bit at 165. You know why I did? Because I can't remember who they were playing. I think who were they playing that you had the money line on with them, and they were like
Marquette.
7-point dogs. Marquette, and I remember you all night being like, "I don't even need the points. Don't even need them." It was. I swear to God, that was in my head. And I was like, you know what? At 165, I'm having a fantastic day. Let's go.
Yeah, well, I'm taking the points because kind of what we've said. St. John's has been so good at winning these close games, and UConn's been pretty bad at the end of these games. So could be the very same thing where it's a close game and St. John's just finishes it out like they have been. So let me bet this right now. UConn.
Trevor's posting videos of him at the bar in the Discord.
I know. He's
I can't open it, but I'm lying.
He goes, they let me have the remote. All right, let me just share this in the Discord real quick.
Oh, man. That's funny.
UConn +4. He still posted pictures. I just saw one.
We got really lucky to find him.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's been in the comments. It's like
no, I know. I'm just saying, like, to know that he's doing content and stuff like that. It's really cool. And now our shows are like kind of, it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, when I found out he did guest spots on the college experience, that's why. Because it's one thing to be an active member of the community. There's a lot of people in here that I think would do well. But it's another thing. Like, are you capable of being on camera? Because it's not as easy as it.
No, it's not.
Yes, not everyone could do that.
I can tell you guys right now, and I've only made like a couple videos on my own recently. Kyle makes it look so freaking easy. It's not. It's
those
not even funny.
Those recorded videos, they're a little bit harder than you would think. Because it's recorded and not live, you feel like it has to be perfect. So like you keep like
exactly.
Yeah. But all right, Purdue, Indiana, another great game. Where's Tinker when you need him? Let's see, -3.5. That's definitely a short line, but it's a rivalry game on Sunday. Like I get why it's short. I there's no way I would lay more than 5 or 6 with Purdue here. So I understand why it's at 3.5.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I guess you can't. I wouldn't want to lay it either, but I don't really feel comfortable with Purdue in this spot. I guess you can put them up for me because I don't know if I can actually have the stones, as you would say, to bet Indiana. Just because offensively they're so bad, but at the same time, Indiana is really bad at shooting the 3 ball, but they have a whole bunch of size, especially with guys like Ball and I don't know how to say that, Mackenzie Macumbo or however the hell you say his name, but they got multiple guys with size that can beat you down low, and Purdue defensively down low is absolutely terrible. That being said, Indiana on defense can't play a lick of it at all. So I think Purdue can score maybe an over. What's the total on this game?
I was thinking under.
I mean, I guess they're both. That's what I'm saying. It depends on what the number is for me, but
150.5.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's high for Purdue. What about what about an Indiana team total under?
I don't know about that, dude, because I do think that they can score inside. Like that's
Purdue
why I
plays
felt
defense,
like
though.
Not inside like that. They're like one of the worst teams in the country as far as 2-point percentage goes.
Like an over? I was
really bad. And that's like the only thing that Indiana does. Again, this one, I think this is one of the more harder games to cap on the board. Like honestly, like I'm kind of going through it with you guys again, but like I do feel like Indiana's size is going to mean something against a team like Purdue. Maybe they get slaughtered in the pick and roll. Maybe. But I do think that size is going to matter. And again, is Purdue a good team? I think so. I think so. But they've lost 3 games in a row now. And I mean, only one, I guess 2 of them are on the road, but so is this one. And this is their 3rd road game in their last 4 games. So it's not even like a good quote unquote spot for them either. So it would be over or pass, I guess. Yeah, it'd be over or pass.
I watched that entire Wisconsin game, and that wasn't like unfortunate. It wasn't bad luck or anything. Like they straight up got beat by Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Wisconsin
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like
better.
I'm not in a position. I'm like, man, if this one thing would have went their way, they would. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it wasn't like that.
They
like
got handed.
It was outclassed essentially. Yeah. So I'm not. I think they get up? Yeah, but I'm not gonna. I can't bet that and be comfortable.
I'll put Indiana up. I don't know if I actually bet it. But we're polling over 70% Purdue. In the comments, we got
Man.
Parlay God's on Purdue. TWD says, I like Purdue, but I need to see the line tomorrow.
I was going to say, I agree with that, TWD. If we wake up in the morning and this is like 4.5, I'll absolutely bet Indiana. Absolutely.
So we
Especially
got
Purdue's heavy public.
Grabenz is on Purdue. Someone said, there it is. Cybert says he likes the under. Indiana's terrible, says Grabenz.
No, they trust me.
But it's a rivalry game on a Sunday. It's like kind of a standalone game.
I get it.
Is that coach going to get fired for Indiana? No, he'll finish the season, right?
Yeah, he's like that's the whole spiel. He's gonna finish the year out and then he's gone.
I might bet Indiana, but more on like just doing some gambling, not really because I think it's a good bet.
Trust me, I really want to bet Indiana. Like I think that a lot of people are going to see Purdue off of 3 straight losses and Indiana's terrible. You know the drill. And I don't think it's going to be that easy.
Coming to us live from the bar, holding the remote. Trevor is in the comments. Says Indiana is winning this game. It's at Assembly.
Oh man,
I'll do it, Trevor. I'm down.
Okay, Trevor. Do we wait though, Trev? I guess it already came down from 4.5, huh? All right.
I'm down.
Okay.
I haven't bet it yet, but
I'm writing it down.
Yeah. Write it down. I'll see because I just realized there's also like 10 NBA games on. So before I bet that one, let me go through the NBA slate fully.
Yeah,
I don't need to be placing 14 bets. So, all right, next up, Musketeers on the road. Seton Hall's playing a better brand of basketball.
I mean,
better than what they were.
Because they beat Yukon?
No, they played 2 tough games in there, not just Yukon.
Who else?
Let me pull up their schedule. Because I can't think of it.
They got beat by 20 by Georgetown, 15 by Georgetown, 30 by Butler.
It was just
20 by yeah. Like,
it was just the one game. Then my memory is.
To be honest with you, I don't understand why this number's 8.5. It seems a little short to me. I mean, Xavier's playing really good basketball lately. Only losses.
Isn't Xavier trash on the road though?
Well, I was just going to go through that, actually. It's funny that you said that. So, I mean, yes, I guess you can say by their record, but they lost their first conference game of the year. Let's just go in conference play. They lost their first conference game of the year at Yukon in overtime. Then they lost their second one against Georgetown. Then they lose.
Before you get to that, the 2 games before conference, at Cincinnati loss, at TCU loss.
I get it, but again, I think they're playing much better basketball right now, especially after all those losses, because then after that, it's an overtime loss on the road at St. John's. That's not bad at all. On the road at Creighton, nobody beats Creighton in Creighton, right? And on the road at Villanova, which is like Villanova's, I mean, I guess they're starting to play decent, especially now. I don't know. It depends on who you ask. I still think they're shit. But I mean, some people might say that's a decent one. But again, I think that Xavier's been playing really, really good. And they just kind of smashed Butler. They smashed DePaul. All these games are 10-point games. Georgetown, every game as long as they're not losing, it's a 10-point game. So I don't understand why. I mean, I understand it's not all 10 points, but it's pretty damn close. So I don't understand why this number was at 9.5, 10 to start with. The only reason that I don't want to bet Xavier is because I think it's going to be like super, super public and it's going to be like the world's going to be on it. But like at the same time, like I don't see how Seton Hall stays within this game within 10. I don't care if Adewusu's available or not. It just doesn't. I just don't get it. Like I think that Xavier matches up pretty damn well with them, and I have a hard time believing that Seton Hall can keep up with this pace for the Xavier offense. Seton Hall's defense is absolutely terrible. So yeah, Xavier should absolutely kill this team.
Cybert says Seton Hall plus 8.5 and under. Trevor says, didn't Seton Hall just get skull fucked? Disgusting Sunday play. Seton Hall initial thought, but zero digging.
I mean, I get it. I'm not really looking to lay 8.5 with Xavier on Sunday either, to be dead honest with you. Especially knowing it's everybody in the world is probably going to be on it, and they're on the road.
Look, I know Ohio State just looked terrible, but isn't this a bit of an overreaction here? What, is it because they're out on the West Coast?
I don't know if it's an
I thought if you asked me before Ohio State just got their faces beat in by Northwestern, before that, if you asked me neutral court Ohio State UCLA, I'm probably saying UCLA -1. So in UCLA, okay, so in UCLA it should be what, 3? This is 6.5. In my opinion, this line is 3 points too high.
I think that 6.5 does seem like a lot. I will give you that. But I will say, I mean, and yeah, Ohio State's probably one of the better teams that UCLA's played in the last couple weeks, not named Michigan State and Illinois. In the Illinois game, they lost. That game was on the road. But I don't think that UCLA is playing terrible. I think they had a really dud second half against Maryland, and I would assume they're probably ready to get up for this game against Ohio State. I will say though that like Ohio State, I don't know. I think they're kind of fool's gold at times. Like they're 2-4 their last 6. It's not like they're playing great. I think that everybody sees that kind of fluky win against Maryland, but I mean, then they went and lost on the road at Nebraska. They beat Washington at home, but who doesn't beat Washington? I mean, every time that they've played a somewhat decent team, they've got beat. So they even beat Purdue in Mackey. I mean, so again, I don't know. It's just.
I do.
There's too many variants of results for Ohio State for me. I would love to sit here and confidently take them, but this is also their first trip to the West Coast. I don't know how that plays a lot. I mean, some teams have looked really good. Some teams have looked bad, and they look better on the second half of it. I don't know, man.
I do. Ohio State. We're polling over 60% UCLA. Every single comment.
Really?
Every single comment. UCLA minus the points. UCLA good. Ohio State is trash.
I thought it was
taking
the other
UCLA
way.
here.
I thought everybody hated UCLA in my head.
I'm betting this.
So yeah, I would put. You can put up Ohio State for me. I didn't. I thought they were going to be like a public dog. To be dead honest, I thought it was going to be like an Illinois situation. To be honest with you.
No, I mean I was already liking Ohio State anyway. Like I said, I think the line should be 3.5, 4. So. I'm down. I'm betting this. And I get to fade the world. Arizona State, Kansas State.
Man, this is another one where it's just like, I don't want to. I think Kansas State wins. And I don't, but I'm comfortable laying like 3.5, but like 6.5. Like, I mean, not to mention they're coming out of their mountain trip, which again, it was 5 days ago or whatever, but still, I mean, that's just kind of a weird trip for them. Arizona State's been absolutely terrible, even at home and on the road. But again, their last game against Texas Tech on the road was good. They lost in double overtime, and then they kind of laid. I don't know if they call it laying an egg, but they lost 2 games at home. This one's hard for me. I really like this Kansas State team. I think I think that maybe the mountain trip got away from them a little bit, especially again that Utah game. They really just didn't have the legs to finish that game. So I think that back home should be a nice big boost for them. And Arizona State's been absolutely terrible, but that's a lot of points for an offense that's coming out, like I said, coming out of the mountains, and I don't really trust that much. But I will say that I do like the fact that Kansas State doesn't really shoot a whole bunch of 3 balls. They don't rely on the 3 ball. They really like to work it inside and run their offense. And that's the type of teams that Arizona State has a lot of problems with as well. So Arizona also puts teams at the line a lot, but the only issue with that is that Kansas State doesn't shoot free throws for worth a lick. And the one thing that can bother you about a team like Arizona State is that they do shoot the 3 ball really well. So if they happen to get hot against a Kansas State team that doesn't shoot a lot of 3s, maybe they keep this game closer than we would want it. So you can put Kansas State up for me. Maybe I put them in like a money line parlay or whatever, but
long teaser.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I don't know.
Is it 7.5 now?
Really? Yeah. There's
okay, no, you still can get 6.5, but there's 7s. DraftKings is up at 7.5. BetMGM up at 7.5. So yeah, DraftKings moved it. It looks like it's moving just now. I mean, MGM moved it an hour ago.
I will say that every once in a while, Arizona State has guys missing games for disciplinary reasons or this or that. So maybe the line movement is a little bit of it. I don't know. I'm just purely speculating, but maybe that's an indication of that. But I don't know. That just seems like a lot of points to me.
I'm not betting this. I put Kansas State up. Trevor's in the comments. He's saying Kansas State laying 6.5. Go Sun Devils. And then in the very next comment, he said, "But Arizona State is off of Houston. I'm in a pickle."
It's because he loves to fade teams after they play Houston.
His weird, made up system. Georgetown, Creighton.
Man, this is another one that's really.
There's nothing to think about, dude. Georgetown. This whole Creighton at home thing, it's a myth.
First of all, I don't think Creighton.
I know it's Trevor's crazy ass. Trevor thinks
I
Creighton
agree.
at home. Trevor thinks Creighton at home is like a top 5 team in the country.
Yeah, he probably does. I agree that Creighton at home is definitely much better. But again, Georgetown has one of those teams that just home and away is completely different. I mean, they got that one road win against Villanova back in January, but they lost by 9 to Butler on the road, 6 to Xavier, 20-something to St. John's, 10 to Providence. I guess the St. John's games was at home. Sorry, excuse me. The away game at St. John's was only 5. 8 to Marquette. I mean, this team just really hasn't played well on the road. And they really, I mean, coming off the Providence game again in Cooley and Providence and all that stuff, and it was a huge, big game for them. I think this number's high. I would lean Creighton here. I don't know if I actually bet it. Actually, I do. Now, the more I think about it, the more I kind of want to bet it because this team seems kind of high. And Creighton's off of 2 losses at a St. John's game that I think that could have went kind of either way. Both those games actually could have went either way. Yeah, I think I like Creighton here. If anything, I maybe do a Creighton team total over.
What about Sorber?
I don't really care if he's in or not. Kalkbrenner will take care of him.
Okay, that just shows me. Okay, Georgetown. If Sorber's playing Georgetown, is Sorber playing Trevor?
I'm dead. He didn't play the last games, but I don't know.
Because it doesn't matter if the best player is playing.
No, my point to that being is that even if I was saying that if in or out, I would still be on Creighton because Kalkbrenner's there, so I don't really worry about him as much.
Kalkbrenner.
Oh my God! Whatever.
I think I'm gonna bet this. Arizona just lost, by the way.
It's just so funny that I have like a fantastic day. I can't even complain. My 2 teams that I try to root for, Gonzaga and then Arizona, who's Tommy Lloyd was Gonzaga's assistant coach forever. Both just shit the bed.
I mean, I had a great day too, but 2 of my favorite bets lost. I really like that SMU pick. And then
I really thought that Boogie would play. That kind of sucked. It is what it is. I also I really liked my Texas A&M pick too, and it was on the video. Yeah, that sucked.
I forget the other bet I liked that lost. There was another one that I really liked that lost. I only had 3 losses. This should be easy to find.
Yeah. I wanted the A&M. The A&M one hurts bad because all the 4 picks I've given out since I started doing videos, that's the only one that's lost. And that really pisses me off.
I have it right here. I'll just pull it up.
So
what's the other loss? Oh, Washington State.
Oh my God. We just got, dude, that was such bullshit.
They got their asses beat.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. They can have it.
Shout out Air Force. We got that one. That was crazy.
In overtime.
Yeah, that Washington State. So SMU and Washington State, those are 2 ones that I really like. Anyway, 1 game left. Someone was asking for a couple of the other games. It's Sunday night. Trev's out at the bar. I just did like a quick one. We'll go live at 11 a.m. and pick out some other ones. And go through the NBA and all that. But for the midnight show, we're just going to do 1 more game. USC on the road to Rutgers. I can't bet this one. It's in Piscataway.
Man, this is another hard one. I would say under for me for sure. Just because both these teams, don't really play at a fast pace. And I don't really trust either one of these offenses. These are like mirror images of each other. I mean, Rutgers has more talent with Harper and Bailey, but as far as both these teams are big physical teams, like tall teams that match up really well with a lot of the bigger teams in the country. That really, I mean, USC can play a little bit of offense, but really no defense. Rutgers can play a little bit of offense and a little bit of no defense either. So it's like they're like the same thing. I guess I would lean Rutgers at home, but I do think that USC is a much better team. I think that if this number is to get over 3, I would probably be on USC, to be dead honest with you guys, just because I do think they're a significantly better team, and they're off of 2 losses, and they didn't have to travel as much. Keep in mind, they played Maryland 3 or 4 days ago or whatever it was. So Maryland to Rutgers is a very, very short trip. So they've been there ready and waiting. So matter of fact, you can put up USC for me. You're not a Rutgers guy anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, I don't really care. I'm not even gonna. I don't know. All right. So Trev says he will make it for the 11 a.m. show in the morning. Trev, at some point tonight or tomorrow morning, send me a few games that you'd like me to add, because there's a lot of mid-major games, and you guys are the ones talking about them. You guys let me know what you want to talk about.
You do a really good job of it, so it's kind of
Well, that's if it seems that way to you, it's because I look at your ticket.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, oh, I guess touche. Never mind. All right,
you always pick the games I like. Yeah, no shit. I'm using your ticket to pick them. But yeah, Trev, send me a few games you'd like me to add for tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern time. So see you all in the morning. Like I said, yeah, I'm pretty much going to get started right now. So if you're in the Discord, I'll be hopefully finding some NBA bets to post all night. As of right now, I don't have any down, but I'm going to be up for a couple hours going through it. So, yeah, great Saturday, everybody. Hope you all had a good one. See you all in the morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Later.